This episode was brought to you thanks to the help of Otaku Noir. Otaku Noir is a Black-owned mystery box subscription service that fully curates each box with materials from creators of color. If you want to get your first box now, please go to their website at otakunoir.com and use our code UBGP to get 10% off your first order. All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Unapologetically Black Gaming Podcast, the only podcast that is, well, one of the podcasts that is made by Black gamers for Black gamers. I don't want to say the only one. It's a good chunk of us out here. I am one of your hosts, the infamous hood rat with the heart of gold himself, Cortez Washington, and as always, I'm joined by a special guest. This person is a game developer. You might have seen their recent game that came out, Super Space Club, which is pretty dope. One-man team, one-man band. Please show some love to Graham Reid, aka Graham of Legend. Yeah. I ain't got a soundboard, but I can add it in afterwards, so I'm gonna do that. I got you.
What's good? What's good?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm good. It's been a good day. Can't complain.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah. All right, man. So I really want to talk about the game. I really want to dive into that because I've been playing a good chunk of it and I really love it. But first, I really want to get, like, this is one of the hardest questions I always ask everybody. What is your first gaming memory? So, like, what's the first game you played where you were like, oh, dang, all right. It was like, yeah.
Something about it so much, I feel like. My first gaming memory, definitely when I turned 4, I remember my dad walking into my bedroom with Super Nintendo and I hooked it up. The red, white, and no, it wasn't even the red, yellow, white cables. It was like you had to plug it into the back of the.
Oh, you had to screw it in.
Like the screw in, yeah. Like good times.
Yeah.
People don't know these days. Have it easy.
Yeah,
but yeah, plug it in, set it up, and he got Super Metroid. I was 4. We didn't even pass the first level.
Damn.
But I remember we spent like a solid hour just trying to beat that first level, trying to we beat Ridley, and then it's like trying to escape, but we couldn't get the platforming done. I'm 4. What am I supposed to do? And then he also couldn't do it because it's his first time playing a game like that. And yeah, it was so much fun.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. Super Metroid. Yeah, that's funny too.
Ultimately, we traded it to get. My cousin gave me Mario All Stars, and then he took that, and that was much better for me. But
Mario All Stars was a bargain too. It was 3 games in one.
Yeah,
and you could just play that, and it was like updated. It was like one of the first few like remakes, quote unquote remakes that we see now. But like, yeah, but that one's super fun. I had that. I spent hours on that, but days. But yeah, man, that's cool. All right, man. So I really want to get into like your origin story. So like, what got you on this pathway to be a game dev, but really just like being like really leading the charge on on a solo project like this?
Yeah, so with game dev, it's been a long play. Like I said, been playing games since I was 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been into art. I'm more on the art side of things. Like if I had to pick art or programming or what have you, I'm definitely on the art side.
Mm-hmm.
You went to college for like motion graphics and all that stuff, yeah? And I never knew you could be a game dev. Like I thought it was just you'd work at a big studio. And I mean, I played also Newgrounds growing up, like just all those the Flash games. But I never even thought of making Flash games as like a thing I could even achieve.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was always just, if I ever got into the game industry, it would be on the motion graphics side, like me doing some graphic design, using some animation for trailers or that kind of stuff. But it's not until 2012 when me and 2 of my friends, this guy named Arlie and a guy named Robert, both also Jamaican, we did Global Game Jam, and Arlie was back in Jamaica doing he was doing like a programming, got a degree in like computer science or something, so he's like a proper programmer.
Mm-hmm.
And then me and Robert were more on the art side, and we made a game, and it was just like a mobile game. And so we realized, you can actually make games. Android is out, iOS is out at this time. It's 2012, and anybody could just submit a game to the app stores. And it was like, this is crazy. We can actually make games now. And so for a while, the three of us just made mobile games. And then eventually, Steam wasn't always open. Like Steam was super closed off, just like the consoles. But even now, you can just apply and hey, your game's on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's been my whole life. I've loved games, but at some point, the wall just kept breaking down. All the barriers broke down, and here I am. Can actually put games out now.
Nice, man, nice. That progression, it sounds like the progression in like 2012, like, and like really building that out. The most interesting thing about like, I think like in like 2012, just like thinking about the tech around that time too, was just like everybody was like realizing, I think at that point stuff started getting more and more accessible to the consumer as far as like tech stuff goes, because that was like peak, like also when it came to like mobile, like you said, it was peak like jailbreaking iPhones, rooting phones, like that entire thing. Like which nowadays doesn't, like, people still do it, but it's just
about that anymore. That's all. You're right. I never even thought about it.
Yeah, and I think it's because it got a lot easier too for folks, because it got easier with like they got an app now. You can just press one button. I know it's like a one button root app now. You can just root your phone. I seen it like a couple years ago.
That's
I was
crazy.
like, I remember I bricked my first Android phone trying to root. I had the HTC Hero with the trackball. I bricked it, man. I was so sad because it was my first phone, and I was like, damn. And then I had to go back to like the Nokia, like the brick joint. Then I progressively got back up. But like, yeah, it was really dope. But like, yeah,
those are better times. I mean, I miss those days.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. I really miss it. I really miss like it was simple back then. It was it was
simple, but you could get complex if you wanted to. Like it was.
Oh, absolutely.
It was up to you, you know.
Mm-hmm. When Netflix it changed. I think everything changed when Netflix got rid of the red screen and they started to do their new thing.
The red screen.
The red screen.
I mean, that was basically back when you had to get Netflix on DVD, like they mailed it to you.
Yeah, and they had just like, I think when I got my first apartment, they had just started doing like being on the Xbox and PlayStation and stuff. They had just started doing that like really early, but that's what they had everything on there. Netflix was just the Wild West. No wonder
there were no like official Netflix things. It was just they had everybody else's stuff. Yeah,
they was the only market. They like, we cornered the market, baby. Give it to us. But so like Super Space Club, like how did this idea, like this concept, come into fruition of like you making this? Because like this game is like great. And I want to say like great bars, like I'm sorry for the pause. It's great because it's like,
what's it gonna say?
Yeah, I didn't want to pause to make it too dramatic, but it's like, it's really dope because of like the art style, the approach, the mechanics, and the AI too, man. AI, like surprisingly, like you would expect like, oh, after a while it gets a little but like once you like, even when you think you get the hang of it, you really don't, because there's still like for example, I was trying to like circle around like a few asteroids to like gain my composure, and then I just seen like one of the smaller joints just like low key like waiting to flank me and was just busting at me, and I was like, wow. I was like, that's smart. And I never thought about like, because I never really think about AI unless it's really trash, but like when I seen that, I was like, oh, this game, they really about it. Like, so what came like, so like what was that? Yeah, they was like, oh, we out for blood. Yeah. How did this concept start? Like, what was the first steps for you to like coming up with this idea? Because this is very like shoot 'em up / like arcadey, definitely arcadey. I feel like this should be in a machine. Yeah, I feel like this should be in a machine with quarters, for real.
There's a whole story behind that, but I'll tell that after.
Okay.
So essentially it was supposed to just be, when I first started it was just supposed to be like me learning how to just make games. Like I made, like I said, I made 2 mobile games before, but I wanted to make like a PC game for once. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh, let me try and make something like Asteroids or Space War, one of those old classic games. And then it started really simple. It was supposed to take like 4 months to do. And at that point, I still had a full-time job. So it was really just me working like 2 hours every day after work or whatever, and on the weekends. Mm-hmm. And then at some point, I was like, no, I want to make like a bigger thing. Like I'd planned out Super Space War 1, 2, 3, planned out what I was going to do. Mm-hmm. And that was 2019. And then somehow it just ended up being me just adding to make it what it is today. Mm-hmm. And then it's just over time, it's just grown into what it is. From the core, from 2019, it's been you're flying around doing space drifting and whatever, and just trying to get a high score, beating enemies. But over the couple years, the 4 years, not couple, over the past 4 years, it hasn't been 4 consistent years of work. But I think those 4 years really helped because it gave me room to evolve the concept. So
yeah,
it started out with just one ship and one enemy type. And of course, now as you've played it, you've seen like all the different enemies and all the chaos that can come from it.
yeah.
And then the characters weren't there, the music wasn't there, that vocalists weren't there. Like all those things just came over time. And yeah, I just wanted to make something that was a vibe, you know. Like I didn't want to make the regular space shooter where it's really techno music, like very intense music or some dubstep or something, and not the dark color palette that you always say. Like if you go to Steam or just Google right now, Google space games, they're all very dark color palettes, very just moody kind of things.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just not what I was about at all. So yeah, that's just how I ended up here.
Nice, man. Nice. That's one thing that really stands out too, is like the color palette, the idea of like just that's what really makes it different.
Hold on a sec, my headphone just turned off. Okay, you're back.
Okay. Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, the great thing about it is the color palette, like you said, you pointed out, because it is like space is very like dark. Like they really, a lot of companies or a lot of games that come out actually really lean into that dark, vast, empty void of nothingness, and it's like very moody, very dramatic, you know, angsty, if you will. You know, they really lean into the dark void, like nothingness, like just really lean into that identity. Whereas this, like your game, is very vibrant. The color palette's there, everything there is dope. But also like the amazing thing is that that music, everything combining together, really uplifts it. But you saying this is a lo-fi game doesn't mean that it's like doesn't have challenge and doesn't have that expertise. Yeah. I think that's the thing that really get me, was like, oh, I'm expecting this to be lo-fi because I've been
interviewing the gameplay to be chill. Nah.
Yeah, no, it was not. It's very like you gotta like, and the beautiful thing about a game is that I think the thing for me when it comes to a beautiful game like this is like when you come back and you're like, oh, that's what like, oh, okay, I'm getting it. And you keep coming back and keep going. It's like riding a bike. It feels like that and it makes you want to keep going more and more waves. I only got to wave 5. I'm gonna be honest. I'm whack. So I want to get to like, I want to get further. But like in the beginning,
that's the point. That's the beauty of it. You're supposed to keep challenging yourself and keep pushing yourself to get deeper and deeper into the waves.
Yeah, and in the beginning, like with the standard ship and the standard loadout, like the standard loadout in general, it's a good entryway because it is like people like, oh god, oh, all right, I need to start shooting. I wanted to mention this, the most beautiful concept, the most beautiful element of it is tying like the weapons to the energy bar to your health. That really reminds me of like Double Dragon type stuff, like that, like when they used to do the special moves and then they would like take some of their health away.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Wow,
yeah. But that was so dope to me because it's like it makes you think, like it makes you have to really think like, oh, you can't just run and gun like any other game.
Exactly, yeah. That was very, very intentional.
Yeah. You have to really be like, you have to be aware of like what your energy bar is, if your specials there, who's around you, this, that, and the other, you know. And I seen with some other unlocks that like you got more fragile ships, more ships to do this, people that have different, you know, abilities, and it's just like, it's like the depth of, there's like, it's a lot of depth. It's like, you know, on the surface it's cool, it's cozy, but like it's a lot of depth, and it kind of, I mean, honestly, I want to bring it back full circle. It makes me think of like a Super Mario, like a old school Super Mario game, like an old school console game where it's like fun, it's got the cool colors and shit, but it's hard, and you like shit.
I couldn't have said it better myself. You nailed
it. Yeah, it's just like, oh man, I hate you. And it's just music like la da 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 da. And you like,
you got it. I love when you have it already in your head. That's perfect.
Yes, and it's So like when it came to like combining the art style with the music, how did that happen? Like, because that really carries the game, and you can tell with like a lot of the sound engineering, audio engineering, like it's very much, it makes it feel like it is very much tied to it. It ain't just like a soundtrack slapped on. So how did that process work out?
Yeah, so shout out to Fatbar. They're the ones who did they produced the whole OST. They're the ones who suggested that we get like actual vocalists onto it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I kind of directed the path which I wanted to go. So I told them I didn't want it to be, like I said, I didn't want it to be the typical intense music. I wanted to feel chill.
Yeah.
But then even with the artists, I wanted to get, of course, I love hip hop and I'm from Jamaica. I love dancehall and reggae. So I wanted to have that vibe to it. So we just reached out to different artists across the country, across the globe. I didn't want to only have like Black American artists. I wanted, I had a friend from Jamaica who is on a track. We have the one that you just did that was a French artist.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wanted people from like Japan, from somewhere in Mexico. It was sick. Like, just imagine having all these different languages coming through and represented. Maybe DLC, we'll see.
Yeah. See?
But yeah, it was just, that came about just because I wanted it to feel like just something you've never really gotten to experience before. It's like a vibe, both the colors and the soundtrack. I wanted to feel like Guardians of the Galaxy, like that intro scene with Peter Quill comes through. He's trying to shoot everybody, but he's listening to like 80s music. Like there's that kind of vibe. So it's more so that the characters in the game, they're the ones who are listening to the music while they're vibing out, just killing everything.
Yeah.
And so I want you to feel that too.
That's so funny that you said the characters vibing out, because that looks like, because like I look at the characters and they're very unique. I'm so glad you leaned into like the space is not just like humanoid or human-esque folks.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like they're anamorphic, yes.
I guess they all are humanoidish. Like they're all have arms and legs. Well, except Ollie, except the octopus. But it's like they're not just humans,
Yeah. And I think that the dope thing about that is that it really leans into the space or like the like otherworldly aspects of it too, because I feel like a lot of times with space games they really just want to be like, it's humans but in space, and guess what, space capitalism and America. It's like, bro, that's just America, that's just the world. Like, get a little bit more out of your element, and so like I feel like this is really dope because it does make you feel like this, and I feel like we're gonna see people cosplaying this shit like as soon as possible.
Can you imagine? I wish. What?
Yes. I'm gonna speak it into existence so you can get it, so you can get the cosplay going for it. But
no, if that ever happens, that's it. I'm done. I quit. I'm done. It's all right. I've made it.
Yeah, man. So just talking, I know you talked about earlier about like the hoops to jump through with like Steam and like getting like certified and getting the certifications. What are some things that people like, say like there's somebody that's listening that's like looking into being an indie dev or anything like that? What are some things that you didn't expect to come in, like to be an obstacle for you when it came to like getting like the certification or the approval from Steam to sell your game?
I mean, honestly, Steam has been super easy. Like Steam is a good entry level into putting your games out there. There are easier things, like you have itch.io. You can just literally sign up, drop your game on, and it's up in like 5 minutes.
Wow.
With Steam, and you don't pay anything, it's just up. Whereas Steam, it's a bit more involved. It feels more, for lack of a better term, professional. And it feels like you're trying to be official with your game. But it's not really hard. Like, there are checks and balances. They do go through your game, make sure it's not like there's nothing that they don't want on their store, like any hate speech and all that stuff in the game. They make sure it works. But then that's it. It takes like a day to get approved. From you go on Steam, make your store, and then upload the build. It takes a day to get approved, more or less.
Oh, cool.
Versus console. Console is a journey. That's why you always hear, whenever you hear a game talking about their goal, it's because they pass certification. They're ready to actually ship now. Okay. But that process, depending on the game, can take weeks, or it can take months, or it can just not happen at all. It just depends.
Yeah. And that makes much sense too. Like if you think about games that were supposed to come to console, but they canceled it or they botched it because of the certain aspects they had to like focus on. And honestly, it takes more money to like probably do a lot to make the tweaks and everything that it goes for that. So yeah. It's like, because you're like
either money or time or both.
Yeah, or both. Yeah, so it's like, it makes a lot of sense that a lot of people are like, yeah, we just throw it on Steam, and if it
makes money, then
if it blow
exactly.
We're gonna port it to every damn thing, you know.
Exactly.
But if it don't, then we gonna keep updating and keep going. And that's one thing I really like about like the current state of gaming too, is that like, say like we bought Super Space Club back in 95, we would just have Super Space Club, that's it, and it would build up that buzz. But if maybe there was like little things you wanted to add and here and there, back then you would have to just release a whole new game,
a whole new game, or
a whole new expansion or something. Whereas this, you can just be like, update 2.0. It's like, I wanted to add this and this, and that's exactly, and that's really cool that we at this point too, because I feel like this game is like this, like, because I feel like this is like a foundation, if I'm not wrong, like a good solid foundation, and you're gonna build upon this and see. I
mean, definitely have things I want to add to it, for sure. Yeah, it's nice to hear that you see it as like a solid base of the game.
It's more than solid. It's more than solid. It's a house. It's a house, and you sell it. You got it on the market. Yeah, you get a house and you got it on the market. You just looking at it like, man, I could add a deck to this though. Like,
I mean, you're not wrong. Like,
you know,
a little pool in the back, you know.
Yeah, a little pool in the back. Man, I'd put a 1-car garage. We can make that a 2-car, bust it out a little bit more. Yeah. But yeah, man, I really see it. And it's one of these games that like is really gonna keep my attention, because like it's just the challenge. I love a good challenge, and I love a good thing that makes me want to have to learn the mechanics. And who doesn't love space? You know, when it's fun and quirky and fun.
I mean, that's how I ended up there.
Yeah, excited, man. So, so we getting close to the end of the episode, man, and this is a good time to where I pass it off to the guests and let them go off some words of affirmation or some positive vibes to the audience or the folks that's listening. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a step back, leave it up to you, and tell the people what they want to hear.
I feel like you should just right here just play the soundtrack for the game. This is all the good. I'm just realized you have a good vibe sign in your back. That's all the good vibes in you. Just play the OST.
Yeah, I'll be sure to clip some in right here.
But yeah, like, thank you so much for having me. Like, it's really nice to be able to talk about the game now that it's out and in people's hands, and hearing that people are actually enjoying it and just getting it, you know. Like, yeah, I've spent the time making this as an arcade, but making this arcade space shooter with a modern twist, modern music, good vibes. But you never know how something's going to land and hit until it hits. And thankfully it's hit really well, especially with the black community. I feel like people have really latched onto it, and that makes me happy and proud, I guess. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right, man. That's nice.
Yeah. And of course, if you're listening, go to superspaceclub.com, get the game, and you can follow me at Game of Legend on everything. On YouTube, Twitter, or X, whatever.
Yeah. And if they want to get like a quick like understanding of the game, I can give a description that you gave to me, but you can also just like, I just want to let y'all know, like, it's gonna say it's a lo-fi arcade space shooter to chill to, developed by Grandma Legend, defend a vibrant galaxy as a club of misfit heroes and battle endless waves of spacecrafts to the tunes of atmospheric beats, outlast your enemies and vibe to the rhythm of the stars. But that's a cool way of saying it. What I'm gonna tell you is it's hard. You're gonna have to learn the controls. You're gonna die a lot. But the music's so cool that it makes you want to try again, and it's really fun.
Hey.
Oh man, hey Greg, thank you again for being on the show.
Of course, anytime.
Yeah. And as always, if you want to find us, we are UBG Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok and Twitch. I know I keep saying I'm gonna stream on Twitch. I am. Don't worry. I'm not holding y'all up. I am gonna do it. And as always, thank y'all so much for listening to this episode. And remember, be happy, drink some water, and keep gaming. Et quand je m'imagine, mon vaisseau en